So, all right. And it is officially 1700 hours UTC or 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So yeah, this is it. Let's get started, everybody. So, hi, welcome. I'm Annie. I am not an astronomer. I know enough astronomy to be dangerous. Please ask questions at me so I see your question easier. And I will generally answer all of your questions after I'm done with the news segment. So there's that. Okay, what else? So yeah, hi, this is Daily Space, and it's kind of your daily-ish Monday through Friday space and astronomy news roundup. Because I'm not an astronomer, that's Dr. Pamela's job, I typically cover things like what's launching, what's going on with spacecraft, and things of that nature. So let's get at it, because we have at least 3 stories today. And now I have to find the thing. Also, I'm just always going to be awkward doing this. So, alright. Move things around, and let's do this thing. Alright, so first up, we're going to talk about the things that launched over the last week. Or within the last few days. Because I feel like there was another launch and we missed it, but I think we covered all of that. So, China launched another navigation satellite as part of their BeiDou, which I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I'm sorry, BeiDou satellite navigation constellation. So they launched a Long March 3 Bravo rocket on Saturday, April 20th at 2:41 p.m. UTC. We did not stream that launch. This is why. China, for whatever reason, does not stream their launches. I don't know if they don't want to... I don't know if it's a saving face kind of thing and they don't want to broadcast failures. I don't know if it's a technology and language barrier. I don't know. As far as I can tell, they don't officially stream launches. What they do is release press and things afterwards, after the fact. And yes, people actually do go out and see these launches like regular, everyday civilians. So if you ever know of a Chinese stream of a launch, even if it's not in English, please let me know, because we'll stream it. We've done this before. It's extremely rare, and yes, I will drop pretty much everything to stream it because they're just that cool to catch live. It's essentially Pokemon. Gotta catch them all! Anyways, so, yeah, they launched a navigation satellite, and here is, we do have some photos of the launch. So here is here's the rocket going off, and I believe it's only carrying 1 satellite, and this is the 44th satellite in their constellation. And I don't think I have anything else intelligent to say about this photo. I really don't. I know that BeiDou is the Chinese astrum equivalent to the Big Dipper in other cultures, or the gourd, or the drinking gourd, or, you know. So, yeah, that's cool. I think it was caught by a civilian. This image was caught by a reporter for CCTV. That's essentially China's national TV station. And you can see that reddish and that yellowish, and I think that's from the fuel in the oxidizer. They use UDMH, which is this. It's unsymmetrical. I think I'm getting it wrong. I know it's unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine, and the dimethyl comes from, these 2 black groups. These are carbons, and this portion, just the 2 hydrogens together, apparently is hydrazine. And yeah, so this is the fuel, and this is the oxidizer, which is 4 oxygens and 2 nitrogens. And I think that's what makes those pretty colors. This is not something you want to be around. This is extremely dangerous. this is probably also extremely dangerous. I don't know the facts about this fuel and oxidizer off the top of my head. I just know they're bad. Very, very bad. They do, in part of their Long March 3 Bravo system, they do use liquid oxygen, which is this, and liquid hydrogen, which is this. And these two, when they're combined, form this, water. So, yeah, we'd much rather use the liquid hydrogen as fuel, the liquid oxygen as oxidizer to get, you know, water and water vapor versus whatever the products are from UDMH and that tetra oxide dinitrogen, or I can't even remember what it's called properly. So that's what fuel they use, and that's probably what causes those colors. So, oh, I have a video too. I was like, there was something else. So there is some video. Let me pull that up and make sure it's where it needs to be. There it is. All right, so we're gonna play this. This was captured by, you know, humans. And already you can see all the people there with all of their cell phones recording this launch. It's amazing. And somebody that had reposted this on Twitter said this was now their favorite, you know, launch spectator footage. So let's watch it and see. They're gonna count down. They're counting down. And then everybody's like, what's happening? Alright, so that was the video, which I still think is pretty cool. Oh no, I lost all the things. There we go. And let me make sure it doesn't autoplay something else, because it likes to do that. So that was posted on their social, on China's social media called Weibo. Oh, I see bits. We'll save bits for the end. So yeah, that was essentially posted on their equivalent of all of our social media stuff here, and I thought it was a pretty cool video and I wanted to share it with you. So let's talk about the BeiDou navigation system a little bit. So it's essentially the Chinese version of GPS or GLONASS or Galileo. They say it's supposed to have better accuracy than all of those, but public accuracy is 10 meters. And GPS, GLONASS, and Galileo, I believe, are all global. BeiDou is going to be the 4th global sat-nav thing. And for comparison of accuracy, I did take some notes last night. So with the new L5 band GPS in newer receivers, the accuracy is 30 centimeters for the public. GLONASS, the Russian system, has 7.38 to 2.8 meters accuracy. And Galileo has 1 meter accuracy for the public, and 1 centimeter for, you know, their encrypted usage, which is usually for military and other sensitive things. So I'm not sure why China's being like, we're gonna have the most accurate, because that's not what's lining up with what I've found, which admittedly was all on Wikipedia. So, okay. Yeah, Galileo claims a centimeter accuracy. I thought that was pretty impressive too. So, alright, enough about that. Let's talk about the next launch. So, April 30th, which is a little less than a week away, bright and early at 0800 22 UTC is the next SpaceX launch. And I'm making a face because I'm in -4 UTC. So that means this launch is at 4:22 a.m. for the East Coast and 1:32 a.m. for the West Coast. So if you're on the West Coast and you want to stay up and watch this, good for you. I really doubt I'll be streaming this, guys. It's just way too early because for me to normally do the coverage that I want to do, I'd have to be starting at 3:30 in the morning. I am not a morning person. So, but that's when it's going to happen. We'll talk about it afterwards. I'll probably replay the launch footage because, you know, we're not streaming it, but don't count on me streaming this one, guys. It's too early. It's way too early. But if you're in Europe, by all means, tune into NASA's feed or SpaceX's feed. Enjoy the mid-afternoon or evening launch because this is way too early for me. Yeah, so they are launching a resupply mission to the ISS, and they are going to have 2 external payloads, one of which is the Orbiting Carbon Observer 3. The previous 2 were satellites and, you know, did their satellite thing in the atmosphere. This one's going to be mounted to the space station, to the Japanese experiment module. And this is a 3D rendering of it, you know, mounted on said module. So not the greatest or most exciting image, but, you know, that's pretty cool. They're getting more science-y equipment up. So this is a picture of it and Space Test Program Houston 6, which, I'm sorry guys, I don't know what that is. Loaded up and ready to go. As I said, these are external payloads, which I'm assuming means they're like attached to the service module on the underside of the Dragon capsule. I'm really not too sure how this is supposed to work. Maybe they're, you know, inside the service module. I'm not sure, but they're ready to go, and it's all pretty cool. So I'm just checking anything else. So yeah, that's it. There's gonna be more science mounted to essentially the space station. I don't know if it's going to be installed using the Canada arm, the robotic arm, or if it's going to be installed through a spacewalk. I will have to look into that because I know it's being attached. I just don't know how it's being attached. All right, so next. So yeah, we've talked about the Dragon capsule. We know that, you know, Dragon capsule's getting ready for human-rated, you know, space flight, but Boeing's doing a thing too. And we're going to talk about Boeing, but we're not going to talk about their aircraft. We're going to talk about their spacecraft, which is called CST, that's Charlie Sierra Tango 100 Starliner. And that meets their naming conventions, which I have known at one point in my life and I've already forgotten. In certain configurations, the Starliner can seat 7, and one of those seats is essentially reserved for a space tourist. So I guess we're going to be sending more space tourists to the ISS. We've had a couple. So, but why I'm talking about it is because they just completed or are working on an important step of being human-rated for space flight. This is an image with the Starliner with the stabilization collar in a protected water area. So it's not open ocean, but rescue divers and rescue crews essentially practice doing a water rescue for the Starliner. And this is important because even though the Starliner's meant to land on land, as in it has parachutes and airbags. It's meant to land on land in the western US. But things happen, and you always want to be prepared. So the rescue crews are practicing how to deal with an ocean landing for Starliner. The really, really cool thing about this is that the stabilization collar is the same for the Dragon capsule and Starliner. They're just color coded. So orange is Starliner, blue is Dragon capsule. And Orion is also supposed to use the same kind of equipment, or was. Excuse me. But because it doesn't have the same bottom, it has to use a whole different stabilization collar. So the good thing is that, you know, the rescue crews don't have to learn 3 sets of procedures. They essentially only have to learn 2, and just make sure they have their color coding correct. So, and as I said, this is part of the testing process. The next test will be out in open ocean, and this, I know, I hear you, Tinker. This is with it in the stabilization and what they call the, there you go, what they call the front porch. It's literally, they call it the front porch. One Cheerio was not enough for her. The front porch is essentially, it's going to line up with the side hatch on the Starliner. And it's essentially a life raft with food, water, and medical supplies for 13 people for 72 hours. And it's a place to chill out that's not the craft while they wait for, you know, evacuation to land or ship. Because, yeah, they might be out there for that long if they have to crash land into the ocean. So, yeah, depressing, but a good thing to practice and a good thing to have. And they're practicing right now for a rescue crew of 9 people, and a crew inside the Starliner of 4 people, which is definitely less than the 7 it can sit. So I don't know what's going on with that. So next, Rocket Lab. Yeah, Rocket Lab. They have broke ground at Wallops. So here is, I have no idea what this image is, but it kind of very clearly, and I enlarged it so y'all could see, says Wallops Island at the bottom. They posted this on their Twitter, and it kind of makes me happy. And they have some glorious snarky remarks like, what is this, a crew loading thing for ants? Or something along those lines. It makes me happy. So, and then this is this is an aerial photo of the construction that's going on at Wallops for their launch complex. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They're going to have 2 launch complexes. I know everything right now that they do is built in California, and they ship it to New Zealand, and potentially with this setup, they'll have the 2 launch centers or launch sites or whatever you want to call them, and they could potentially be launching rockets from both. So that's cool. They chose Wallops because there's not a lot of other commercial launches happening from there, and there was something technical about how and where they launch things that worked to their advantage. And yes, this is Wallops in Virginia. So that's all the news I had for y'all today. And now I'm going to get to your questions after I close some windows. So yeah, if you haven't asked questions and you want to, now is the time. Please tag me so I can see them. And scroll up, all the way up. And Ambius says, Comments to China, they're cowards. We streamed our launch, our maneuvers, our landing attempt. Yes, you guys did. And you guys, Space IL didn't have to do that. But I'm kind of glad they did. Because, yeah, it sucks to fail terribly in front of everybody, but it was also nice to watch and be a part of. Because that was super cool. And really, come on, Space IL made it like 95% of the way there. Yes, and as Paranor says, you don't drop your rockets on populated areas. Oh my goodness, guys. China's space program can be problematic. There was actually something that I saw on Twitter last night about a quote from a local that was like, you'd think they'd tell us about these rocket launches because this area is also, you know, in an earthquake zone. So essentially they went on to say, you know, one of these times an earthquake is going to happen. There's going to be a bunch of noise. And we're just all going to, you know, not think anything of it, thinking that it's an unannounced rocket launch. So yeah, there's that. Larry Weird and Proud asks, solid fuel side boosters? I forget. I don't think the hydrazine, where is it? I don't think this is solid. I don't remember. I know this bit isn't. The oxygen and nitrogen, this is definitely not solid. And I know at one point I knew whether or not these were for solids, but I can't remember. Part of me wants to say they are solid, but I'm not sure. Yes, they do use UDMH in their first stage. They use UDMH in pretty much all of their stages but one, and I think the one where they don't is an optional stage, and that's the one where they use the liquid oxygen and the liquid hydrogen. Hey, Fenring! I don't know of any sort of regulation of what satellites can and can't be up in space. I know there are a bunch of treaties, but I don't think there's anything formal. I know things are registered, I know there's treaties, but I don't know much other than that. Shh, 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 shh. Don't start, Tink. I know. You're not crazy about UDMH either. Kerbal asks, how close were they to the launch? I have no idea. Not a clue. Ambia says, the base scared my cat. Oh my goodness. Oh, and that's right. Refs Matt, hello, donated bits. Are you ready for bits, dogs? I don't think he's quite on camera. He's not. Let me fix that. Why can't you get... And there's some Pucks now. Hey, Puck. Can you speak? Speak. You're not on camera. Speak. All right. Puck says thank you. I say thank you. Here's the Cheerios. And make it rain. There. Now you get to look at, you know, Puck butt. Yeah, I think, Sammy, it was really super loud for the launch. I'm just kind of amused because everybody's counting down and then nothing happens, and you can just hear and feel the crowd go, oh no, what went wrong? And then it takes off, like, shortly afterwards. Adam Altogether says, Chinese proverb, when the rocket booster drops on your house, do not eat the orange snow. That's very, very, very wise advice. David asks, where is it launching from? That was launching from, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, Shi Chang, that's X as in X-ray, I as in India, C as in Charlie, H as in Hotel, A as in Alpha, N as in November, G as in Golf. I think all or most of their satellites are launched from there because it's the site is literally called, you know, Satellite Launching Center. So, Kerbal says, it's dark stupid during finals week for me. I know, right? I know, I'm not putting you guys through that at all. Oh, that was in question about the SpaceX. Yeah, that it is launching from Florida really early. I don't know why so early. I'm sure there's reasons somewhere. I'm just not privy to those reasons. So, yeah, launch windows are definitely a thing. And yeah, I didn't quite mention it, but OC03 is going to continue on the work of the previous two and measure atmospheric carbon dioxide. And yeah, the first one failed. The second one lived a good long life. And Noel says that's a Canadarm grapple on the large piece, so it looks like it is going to be installed by a Canadarm. Disillusion says, Space Tourist, I have a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, sure, go for it. Boeing says they're going to sell the seats for about how much Roscosmos charges for, you know, their seats to space. So essentially, if you can afford a seat on the Roscosmos, or on a Roscosmo launch, you can afford a seat on the Starliner. Refs Matt says, seriously, when Starliner is working and landing at White Sands, it will be worth checking out. Sonic boom followed by big parachute dropping into the mountain valley outside of... I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. Yeah, and I'm just amused that it has airbags, too. That inflate just prior to impact, kind of like how we got, you know, Curiosity to Mars. Sammy asks, is that meaning the Starliner capsule is a 7-person one? I'm not sure. I thought they were all the same size and seating was just rearrangeable. I know in photos I've seen where it was set up for 7 people, they had either 3 or 4 on like the top row, and then they had another row of seats underneath of that, and it's weird. It's weird. And now the dogs are off camera because they know better. Get back on camera. David says, can't wait till Scotland gets its spaceport. Scotland's getting a spaceport? That's awesome. Charlie in H2O says, I missed the first part of the broadcast. Is SpaceX preparing another test after the anomaly? I don't know. I didn't poke too much at that. I'm not... Part of me wants to say logically they would be doing another test, but they have to get a whole nother craft, because I think that was a craft they were going to use later for something, so I don't know. And yes, Ambia, Space IL is basically superheroes, so it was a risk putting it out there on live TV, but you know, everybody was essentially able to cheer and mourn with you. Hydrazine is not solid. The side boosters use UMD. You know what? We have the internet. Let's figure this out. So Long March 3 Bravo. And I'm going to copy this Wikipedia link into chat for y'all. And let's look at the boosters. It says the boosters use UDMH. First stage, second stage, UDMH, and it's the third stage. I'm sorry. So there is the third stage does use liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. It's the fourth optional stage that also uses UDMH. So no, they don't do solid for the Long March 3. Bravo. Okay. And yes, I did turn the music back on. Dragon and Starliner can both do 7, but NASA only asked for 4. It's, probably best to over-deliver. Plus, you can use that extra space for cargo if you're only putting 4 people up. Alamo Gordo. Thank you, Restmat. So, Alamo Gordo. That still feels weird. But that's where you go to essentially watch the Starliner tests. Oh, Ramph. That's just what I'm going to call you now, Ramph, because your username is so long. Ramph says they'll definitely reschedule tests. The in-flight abort test is really important. No idea when, though. Yeah. I thought Gordo was a baby dinosaur in New York City. Oh my goodness. Ramph goes on to say, successful test, issue discovered. I mean, you can define a test successful that way if you've, always, if you're like, well, we learned from this. And I guess that's the best way to look at it. Ramph is just fine. Thank you, because, yeah, I have issues with words. Words are hard. Words are hard. Okay, so I'm all caught up with chat now. And, toss some Cheerios to Tinker, because she's sitting just off camera, because she knows. Result is a success. It depends on how you define success. If you wanted to get it just up into the sky, okay, that's a success. If your goal was to get it up into the sky and hit the moon, because yes, early lunar missions were, can we hit the moon? If you get it up into the sky but you don't hit the moon, it can still be considered a success or a partial failure, which actually is how some rocket launches go. They aren't total failures, they're partial failures. And I feel like as long as you learn something and improve for next time, there's something to be gained for it. But yeah, it's all essentially in how you want to define a success. So, yeah. Ramp says, my name is a torture test for Twitch streamers. Aye. And Paranor goes on to say, remember, failures are default. Gotta fall before you learn how to walk. Yeah. You ever watch little kids just teetle-toddle and fall over constantly when they're trying to walk? Yeah, that's a good parallel to spaceflight. Space is hard. Getting humans to space is harder. Getting stuff to space safely is hard. There's reasons why we put up animals before we put up people. Because we knew it was hard. We didn't know what would happen. Etc., etc., etc. Ranger was like, can we hit the moon and have the camera work? Yeah, sure. I mean, if those are parameters for success and everything was met, that's a success. And yeah, paying for space is hard. And there have been times historically where we have not, as a country and otherwise we have not wanted to pay for space. So Yeah. Trillian says, I find it amazing we got to the moon with slide rulers. I knew there were some computers, but just look at the footage of mission control and the people at the consoles. Yeah, and also remember that before we had computers that were machines that did math, we had humans, usually women, that did math and were called computers. So Yeah, but there were actual machine computers, and I think a stack of some of the code was as tall as a person, as tall as the woman that wrote all the code. It's pretty amazing when you think about it, and I don't think that may have all just been machine language too. Computer languages are a little funny because there's like three different categories. One is machine language, another one just uses an interpreter, and another one requires a compiler. The reason why, Windows doesn't take forever to install is because we have compilers. And yeah, machine language is literal step-by-step instructions. Move this chunk of data from this spot to this spot. Meanwhile, like, in a higher level language, we're like, okay, assign the value 7 to this variable that we're going to call lowercase c. But to take that from human readable to machine language involves a bunch of steps, and it's kind of scary. Don't bark. I know. I haven't cursed at a compiler in a while. It's okay. So, yeah, Spider, I've heard that Hidden Figures is a great movie. I unfortunately have not seen it yet. I've meant to, and just life kept getting in the way. So I think that's just going to be added to my watch list of things to watch when I actually have time to breathe, which would be like kind of like now. Fenring says, shift right by 1 bit. Yes. Oh my goodness. We can tell the computer to shift everything right by 1 bit, but the machine language to shift everything right by 1 bit could be really simple or really difficult, depending on how they want to do it. And yeah, things of that nature. So, does anybody have any more questions? I don't think I really have a lot else for you guys today. I did poke at... I know, Tinker. Shh. I did poke at... Oh, I don't have the thing. Why don't I have the thing? So there's no donation bar on the bottom of my screen, and that's my fault. So I'm going to see if I can grab one now while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I'll totally forget about it. So, let me see if I can quickly add this. Hey! Bits! Thank you, Trucker Kev. Hey, Puck, can you speak? Come on, speak. All right. Puck says thank you. I say thank you. Here's the Cheerios, and make it rain! All right, you guys can watch the dogs while I awkwardly do this for a second. Which hopefully shouldn't take too long. Which, sometimes it does. There we go. And there we go. So there. Now, ta-da! There's a donation bar at the bottom of the screen, which should have been there all along. So let's talk about this donation bar a little bit. This is the goal for the month, to raise money to pay for myself and Susie. Susie does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. You guys see all of me. Some weeks you see more of me than other weeks, etc., etc. I have it pretty good for, a streamer on a small channel, as in I get paid hourly to do this, which is amazing because even though it's not a lot of money, thanks for the bits, Fenring. Hey, Puck. I don't think I can get Puck to come up. Speak? No, they're not going to come up. So here's the Cheerios, and make it rain! So I get paid hourly to do this, which is incredibly rare for Twitch streamers, especially with, kind of a smaller channel. And that little bit of money helps out greatly. It has allowed me to buy a new computer desk and share, and I will probably continue to upgrade my equipment. And, there's quality of life things involved with that, too. So, yes, thank you to everybody that's donated money, bits, has a Patreon, pledge going, has bought merch. Thank you for all of that, really. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you can't afford to do any of that, that's okay. Follows are free. I mean, I know that I probably wouldn't be able to do some of this stuff if it wasn't for your guys' support. So yeah, if you can't donate, just follows are free. It's free to hang out with us. It's free to join our Discord. Oh my goodness, thank you for the sub! Ah! Hey Puck, speak! Run! Yeah! Speak! Both of you! Speak! Tinker bark too. Ah, thank you so much for the sub! Alright, Puck says thank you, I say thank you. Make it rain! Oh, thank you. So yeah, but follows are free. And it's free to hang out with us. It's free to chat with us. It's free to be in our Discord. Yeah. And for those of you that are new and just joining, thank you for the bits! Oh my goodness. That's so nice of you. Oh. I don't think I can get the dog to bark again so soon. Hey, Puck. 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 I can't do it. I'm sorry. But, Tinker, can you speak? Can you speak? She's like, no, but I'll look for more Cheerios. So they're still hunting. I can't make them speak. But here's the Cheerios, and make it rain! So pelt them with Cheerios. Thank you so much. But yeah, we normally, for those of you that have just, stumbled upon the stream, we normally stream Sundays through Fridays at 1700 hours UTC. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Time. When the time changes, as it will, in the fall or spring, depending on where you are in the world, just go with that 1 p.m. Eastern and you won't be wrong. So Sundays is myself colorizing space telescope data, which is pretty cool. I'm working on a spiral galaxy right now, or is it a pair of spiral galaxies? I think it's a pair of spiral galaxies that are interacting. And Monday through Friday is this, Daily Space. Dr. Pamela Gay covers all of the really super technical stuff, and because I know enough astronomy to be dangerous, I usually cover spacecraft and I usually cover spacecraft and such like that, like we did today. I try to start early, even if it's just the dogs up on camera, because the nature of Twitch just, pouring in, plus, dogs. They're cute. I can't think of anything else. I think I covered everything. No, I did not. So yeah, our host institution is PSI, Planetary Science Institute, and we are in the wiki provides. Yes, the wiki always provides. So PSI works in association with Youngstown State University here in Youngstown. Yup, it's finally spring, Ohio. And yeah, it's fun and cool and stuff. And I mentioned it at the beginning of the broadcast, and I might have mentioned it since, but Saturday we're gonna have kind of a marathonish stream, which is unusual because we hardly ever stream on Saturdays unless there's a launch. 10 hours to celebrate 10 years of 365 days of astronomy. I am going to be traveling tomorrow to St. Louis to help Pamela out with that. So yeah, I'm sure y'all will see me on the doggy cam playing with doggos, because doggos and things of that nature. Because I'm not returning until Monday, there will be no stream on Sunday because reasons. So, but yeah, that's why I won't be streaming Sunday, and I will probably see you all on Friday or Saturday. It depends on how things go. So, and I think that's everything. This is your absolute last call for questions, and this is also a great time to suggest somebody for me to raid. If I don't get any suggestions, I will go to the Knowledge Fellowship Discord, of which we are a member. Don't argue with me. That's what happens if nobody makes a suggestion. I want to go there and pick somebody else that's alive. Seriously, as long as it's like science related or nature related or maker related, we're good. So, Sammy waves to the dogs. There's a cat too. The cat doesn't show his face often. That's like a super surprise. I don't know where he is in the house at the moment either. So, Gamer's Circle, he's playing Factorio. All right, that works for me. So let me start getting things set up. So I'm gonna awkwardly roll the credits, you know, as you do. As you do. Recent events, I think? My protein. Mike Cassidy, congratulations! Mike Cassidy says, my protein just broke into the top 10 on Fold It. Congratulations! So, Fold It, real quick, is citizen science that's been gamerized, and you literally have people folding proteins to see if they'll fold in certain ways. And for Mike Cassidy to get one of his protein folds into the top 10 is amazing. So congratulations, Mike Cassidy. I am so excited for you. And yeah, that's awesome. All right. So we've said, somebody said Gamer's Circle. I need another window for that. So look them up. Gamer's Circle. There we go. Factorio. There he is. And pull up chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. And yeah, I think that's all. So with that, I'm gonna roll the credits. We're gonna do this raid, and I'm just making sure I have all my buttons up. And I will see you all later. Until then, be good to each other and keep being awesome. Bye. Awkwardly roll credits.